Coming up next from Eccles Hall in Norfolk, Virginia, it's a battle for first place in the MEAC. Howard takes on Norfolk State. The two preseason MEAC favorites currently are standing at the top of the league. Howard with a 3-0 mark. Norfolk State trailing them, tied for second, along with South Carolina State at 3-1. Derek Jones and John Williams with you this afternoon from Virginia. And John, as we take a look at this contest today, Brian Moore Jr. and Blake Harper could be deciding factors.
Absolutely. Two marquee players on their respective teams. Brian Moore Jr. is a guy that is extremely efficient from the field, shooting 45% from three, and really can do it at a high clip. Does a good job of getting downhill and creating for himself and his teammates, while Blake Harper is a unicorn, one of the top freshmen in the nation, scoring the ball from all over the floor. He's going to be needed and necessary for Howard to come out on top.
Howard has lost their last two games, both to non-D1 schools, mostly due to a very depleted roster. We'll talk about that as this game progresses. The opening tap controlled by the Spartans. We are off and running here in Virginia. These two teams no strangers to each other. They played in the last two MEAC tournaments, with Howard winning both occasions. Brian Moore Jr. tries to start it up for the Spartans. He cannot. And the rebound controlled by Howard.
Howard did a good job out of their 2-3 zone, really trying to protect the paint against Norfolk State, making it tough for him to take high percentage shots.
Harper inside. Nice look down low to Calvin Robbins Jr.
Yeah, Robbins Jr. did a good job of setting a hard screen, rolling. It seemed like there was miscommunication from Norfolk State regarding their rotations defensively.
Brian Moore Jr., leading scorer in the MEAC, a part of a strong starting lineup here as Christian Ames goes hard to the cup.
That's what makes Christian Ames so good. Great at getting downhill. Quick first step.
11th different starting lineup used by Kenneth Blakeney and the Bison. Johnson, Dockery, Harper, Shockley, Okeke, and Robbins in the mix. Harper, the sensational freshman, scores for Howard.
You can see how smooth he is, and that's why he's one of the top scorers, freshmen in the nation. It's because of his ability to get to his spot and do it so effortlessly.
Ames directing traffic for the Spartans. 5 seconds to shoot for Ames. Off the mark with a three-pointer, tracked down. And now along the baseline, losing it out of bounds, was Jelani Darden. And it'll go over to Howard. So, John, with this depleted lineup, they only have 8 dressed today. How does Howard deal with a lot of energy and intensity from the Spartans team?
Well, you can see already they're playing back in a 2-3 zone, really sunk to try to protect the paint. And what that does too is, because you have limited space to guard, you're going to have more energy, and you're not going to waste as much moving. And so right now they're going to utilize all their timeouts, most likely, sit back in that zone, protect the paint, and also just try to reserve themselves as much as possible when the pressure is being put onto them by Norfolk State.
Jaron Johnson had his hands on the ball, got bumped off, back over to Norfolk State. Ings deflected off of Meding's hands as Dockery comes away with it. Johnson tries a three, that misses the rim, heads out of bounds, and it will go over to the Spartans. We're going to see a lot of three-pointers here today in all likelihood from Howard.
Absolutely. Howard, what they like to do is they like to get down the floor as quickly as possible, see if they can get a paint touch, pitch out, and then get a high percentage three.
Caught up with Kenneth Blakeney before the game started. He's not changing anything as far as his approach to this game, despite the fact that he does not have his full complement of players. Ings, high arcing shot missing. Meding's follow, drops it in.
Yeah, that's one advantage that Norfolk State will have over Howard, and they've had over a lot of their opponents in the MEAC, is their ability to rebound the ball. They have done a fantastic job of getting and crashing, creating second chance points, but also limiting teams to one shot and done.
Myers, now the ding. And a turnover. Shockley KK got stripped, and that ball bounces right to Johnson. The fortuitous bounce leads to a bucket for Howard.
That's what Howard's going to have. Obviously, they created that turnover through defense and were able to get a little bit of luck with some deflections going in their direction.
Dockery gets a hand in and knock it out of bounds. The first stop of the day. Early lead for Howard. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by The General. The General gives you a break on car insurance when you need it most. Welcome back inside of Elkels Hall. Derek Jones and John Williams with you. And John, these two teams no stranger to each other. They've met in the last two MEAC tournaments. Howard winning both times in the championship game in 23, the semis last year, en route to getting back to the NCAA tournament. This team knows how to deal with adversity, and they're faced with it once again.
Yeah, right now, I mean, they've got 7 active players that are going to go out there and play and compete for the Howard Bison. And these guys have seen it before in the past, and they know how to respond to adversity. And usually by the time it comes down to tournament play, they have the right response, the right formula to be able to go out into the conference and compete.
Blake Harper trying to get Howard back to the NCAA tournament in his first run through as a member of the Bison. Meeting 68 all-time between these two programs. It's funny, we talked yesterday to Robert Jones, the head coach of Norfolk State, about this being a new rivalry, and he said, well, not so fast.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of success against Howard, so he wouldn't necessarily define it as a rivalry, but these two teams clearly are at the top of the league right now. They've reached the last 4 NCAA tournaments.
Absolutely, yeah. Coach Rob Jones was just telling us to settle down. He was like, I've only lost to him, I think, like 4 times. And so, you know, he let us know that. But with that being said, you know, as the last 4 years have come, it's been these two guys, these two teams in the running for it. And Howard has been on top the last 2 years, and they foiled Norfolk State's runs at it both times.
These teams have combined to reach the last 4 NCAA tournaments. Norfolk State won in 21 and 22, lost the 23 title game to Howard, and then Howard has taken the baton from that point on, winning the last 2 MEAC championships. And it's interesting, they were faced with a similar scenario last year, not having to play a lot of guys in the MEAC tournament. They still found a way, and they continue to find a way here early on, as Miles Stewart with the bucket to give Howard the 8-6 lead.
That was a huge finish from Miles Stewart there, really just seeing it through and finishing strong. But to your point, you know, both years, 24 and 23, Norfolk State was projected to win the tournament. And the first time, 23, it was a great battle, took it down to the wire, and Howard came out on top. But the second game, 2024, they foiled them in the semifinals.
Well, speaking of foiled, one of the officials just foiled a Cameron Shockley OKK 3-point try. It deflected off of the near side official, and Shockley OKK very frustrated by that sequence.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you right now, man, like I'd be whispering in that referee's ear, man, I hope you lose sleep tonight.
Haywood Bostic is okay as the 3-pointer drops from Sincere McMahon. He's one of the team's deadliest shooters from deep. Leads the team in made threes, 29 now on the season.
Yeah, I got to call him when he was in Winthrop. And he could continually just knock consistent shots down.
Cameron Shockley OKK misses the 3, but an offensive rebound.
That's a mismatch.
Battling. The double team and the kick for Dockery. His three no good. And the rebound controlled by the Spartans. 2-on-2 basketball the other way. The layup is good from Brian Moore Jr.
And that is exactly what Norfolk State wants to do. They want to get out in the open floor and run off of first possession stops. And if they can get that going and run Howard, who has a depleted roster, they can tire him out.
A foul against Sincere McMahon, working against Blake Harper.
Yeah, as soon as Norfolk State got the rebound, they were out for the races and finding ways to create in the open floor. And that time, there was a little bit of contact.
It's the first foul against McMahon. First foul of the game against the Spartans, who have scored 5 straight. Inside, off the window and in from Robbins. So the Chicago native stops 5 in a row from the Spartans. It's an 11-10 ball game.
I got to talk to the staff of Howard, and they have been joyful about Robbins and what he's been able to bring to the table.
Dockery with the steal and the finish. Fields barreling his way down the floor and one for Chris Fields.
Yeah, and you can see like both teams are trying to create opportunities in the open floor. If they get it, they're opportunistic. Fields over there creating, dragging that step and finishing strong with the contact.
So Robbins picks up the foul, sending Fields to the free throw line. Fields a part of the MEAC all-rookie team last season. Battled injury this year. As he steps to the line to try to give the Spartans a 2-point lead. And he does. Howard will use a timeout to gather themselves. Not a surprise. Coach Blakeney trying to rest the guys up. Norfolk State up 2. 14-12 lead for the Spartans. Derek Jones and John Williams back with you at Eccles Hall in Norfolk, Virginia. A battle for first place in the MEAC. Howard 3-0 in MEAC play. Norfolk State 3-1. And early on, John, how have you seen Kenneth Blakeney manage the early stages of this game with his roster?
You know, throwing a lot of different zone sets at Norfolk State, which is a good formula. I mean, Morgan State did that against him and got a lot of success and came out with a win at their house. And so they're doing the same thing where they're running zones, but we just saw there where they called a timeout to manage the legs, because one thing Coach Blakeney did say is that his team is going to go. They're going to play hard. They're not going to slow the tempo down. They're going to play to their pace, and they're going to find ways to create offensive opportunities as their culture presents.
McMahon thought about shooting, feeds it outside for Moore. Taken by Harper, who leads the MEAC in rebounding. Harper has that ball poked away from him, and a foul call. And a side out coming up for the Bison.
Harper in the open floor. Look clean right there. Look clean. But whenever you go across the body where you're blinded a little bit as a referee, sometimes they'll call with the assumption that there was contact.
Shockley Okeke drills a three-pointer, and that has been his specialty for this Howard team. 44% shooter from 3. In the loss to Morehouse, he actually attempted 17 three-pointers in the contest. Incredible.
Hey man, when you don't have much on the bench to come get you out.
that is the ultimate green light. 17 three-point attempts.
I'm letting it go. Who you gonna bring in and put me out, huh?
After the Meding dunk, 16-15 lead for the Spartans. Harper against McMahon. Nice look inside to Robbins. Can't clean it up. Out of bounds. Back to Howard. And another stop on the floor. 12 minutes left to go. Half one. Tight one early on between the Spartans and Bison. So, talking about Cooper Flag, the highest profile.
Blake Harper was going to hit the scene running like he has so far. And, you know, Coach Blakeney has done a great job of finding talent to fit his system and to thrive in it. And you're seeing that from Blake Harper.
A local product out of Washington, D.C., worked very hard to get his body into shape when he joined Howard, and it has paid off tremendously. He's won MEAC Rookie of the Week all 11 times it has been awarded this season.
He's done a great job of utilizing mismatches, but then also making the right pass as soon as the double team comes, as we see there from Johnson.
Right on cue, a three-pointer by Johnson to put Howard back out in front by 2.
And we've seen Norfolk State has made it their intent to double team Blake Harper whenever he gets the ball in the short corner or in the post, and he's doing a fantastic job of passing it out, hitting his guys on the mark and knocking down high percentage threes. Right there. Well, Meding letting it go from the corner.
Meding showing the range from deep. It's a 1-point lead for the Spartans. Shockley Okeke against the aforementioned Meding. And that is thrown into the backcourt. It'll be a violation against Howard.
Now, are you okay with Meding taking those on a consistent clip? I mean, sometimes you're forced to based on how the offense presents itself. It's in rhythm, especially going against zones or in compacted defenses. But you okay with that, him being 6'11"?
Well, I mean, I'm a Joel Embiid fan, so I would not be truthful if I said I wasn't.
Okay, okay. As long as you can do it, though. Like you prove you can do it on a consistent basis.
Jones from deep off the heel of the rim. Moore. Back to work for the Spartans. Terrence Jones tries it again, missing again. Harper with the rebound.
So you see what I'm saying, right? You don't want to fall in love with that, especially if that's not your offensive DNA.
To the post for Robbins. Harper had some room for a moment, passed it up. Dockery putting the moves on, missing the shot. A collision between two Howard players, Johnson and Harper is down. And they don't need this.
No, they do not.
This is a team that has had concussion issues, illness issues, injuries up and down the roster. And now their star freshman is down.
Yeah, the Howard Bison have not had the luck, especially during conference play in the last few years. And it's good to see him run off the floor on his own fruition there.
Just two players competing for the ball. As Johnson and Harper collide, Harper heads to the bench to get checked out. Into Shockley Okeke. Dockery tries to find a step. There is not a lot of openings for this Howard offense. Shockley Okeke for 3, missed it. Robbins with a rebound. Johnson on the attack, off the glass and in.
Yeah, all that was created by Robbins crashing the boards. And the thing about when you shoot a lot of threes, there are going to be some long rebounds, and a lot of the times the defense doesn't get those rebounds, and so you have to fight even harder on defense when you're playing against a three-point shooting team. And so that time Robbins was able to corral the ball in that nail area and create another opportunity for his teammate to score.
5 to shoot. Meding lost the ball. 1 second. Fields fires it up, but it is a shot clock violation against the Spartans.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where you might be okay with Meding just pulling the 3, especially with the time on the clock. And, you know, 6 for 20 from 3. Ain't bad.
you know, 30%.
Yeah, it's not bad. Better than I thought. I thought they might have been his first 3 of the season for a second.
Stewart looking for help. Finds Shockley Okeke. Harris, the MEAC preseason player of the year. A great part of this Howard basketball program. But John, he's out indefinitely with a foot injury. And they need his presence for sure, but he's at least able to add something on the bench in terms of leadership.
Absolutely. Right before the game started, he huddled the Howard Bison together and just gave them words of encouragement and how to go about this game. He's been there before. He has the experience, and he's being missed right now. In that last 2-minute spurt from Howard, you could see them breathing hard. Their hands were down on their knees, and Norfolk State, they smelled that. They were sharks in the water. They smelled blood and attacked right away.
Ings takes it in hard, and the lead out to 5. And that experience from last year's NCAA tournament march as they were able to win the MEAC. Harris a part of that, but this time he'll have to do it from the bench. A 3-point lead for the Spartans, 27-24. Thanks for joining us here today from Eccles Hall in Norfolk, Virginia. Derek Jones and John Williams, a battle for first place in the MEAC. Ings delivers to the rack, and an offensive foul is called against Christian Ings as Harper takes the charge.
Yeah, Harper stood his ground, made sure that he was there steady early, absorbed that contact. Christian Ings, who's such a really good guy at getting paint touches consistently, if he gets into foul trouble, that could hurt Norfolk State.
Harper blast through. Well, you can see that was coming as Jelani Darden takes the charge. Harper made contact with him initially and then looked at one of the officials immediately, and then
he looked at him. He looked at him before the contact even hit, like, you gonna let him do this? All right, we can play like that. And then he calls the foul, and he's just like, hey, I thought we were having an eye conversation here. You said we could play like that.
And an offensive foul going the other way. 3 straight possessions with offensive fouls.
Sometimes you got to get some of those offensive fouls just to let the ref know, like, hey, the contact's being given to me like that. I'm going to give it back.
And then Harper got pushed. That will lead to Johnson heading back in the game here for Howard. Meanwhile, Robert Jones goes to the bench for Brian Moore. Stewart heads out. There'll be a side out here coming up for Howard.
Yeah, Coach Jones has done a good job of putting quickness on Harper. Big 3.
Cameron Shockley Okeke hits a 3-pointer, and the game is tied at 27. So just when it looks like the Spartans might create some distance, Howard charges back, but Ings hits a 3 to restore the lead for the Spartans.
It's a big 3 from Christian Ings. You can see they are trying to put a ton of pressure and a ton of contact on Blake Harper.
He's guarded by Jermaine Kamara.
Let's just talk about that. Harper right now is playing point guard for Howard.
No Anwar Gill today. He's out with an illness. Dockery, scoop layup, left hand, and it's good.
Marcus Dockery, second lead scorer on this team, averaging around 17 points. Has found ways with his experience to be able to score the ball. He's known for his 3-point shooting ability, but he can do so much more than that. And it usually is based off of his pump fake. Because of his pump fake being so deadly, he can put the ball on the deck because of a bad closeout and get all the way to the lane.
Moore pops, comes up empty. The rebound taken by Johnson. Dockery had a big outing in the semifinal win against Norfolk State in the MEAC tournament last year, but a turnover. Kamara lets it fly. Misses the three. Harper with just 2 points, by the way, as Shockley Okeke hits another three, and this is what he does. The transfer from Columbia, lighting it up from deep.
He has been on fire today.
Struggled with injuries at Columbia, but has really found a home at Howard. Approaching 2.5 minutes left to go. First half. Bladen working against Robbins. Turns. Left it short. Got it back. New possession. Ings tries to dig inside. Stripped.
This Howard team has been feisty on the defensive end.
Shockley Okeke. Oh, and that's an easy offensive foul call. Shockley Okeke just threw that arm out, and that's an easy one.
Yeah, Kamara put that dog on him right quick. Really made it tough for him to score.
Don't open. Courtesy of the timeless LeBron James. And perhaps for Howard, Cameron Shockley Okeke undergoing his own renaissance as of late. Averaging 10 points per game this season, but how about these splits, John? He's got 11 today. The last 5 games nearly averaging 20 points per contest.
Well, when you can really space the floor like he can because of his shooting ability from 3, it creates more opportunities for the rest of the team. And so he's been asked by Coach Blakeney to let it go, because what it does is it opens up driving lanes for the rest of the team. It opens up more space so that you can get offensive continuity going.
Myers, no good on the 3. Under 2 minutes left to go. Howard has hit on 4 of the last 5 shots, but a miss there by Johnson. A run out for Moore. Moore speeding down the floor, in the lane, off the window and in, plus the foul.
That's the thing. You have to make your offense your best defense if you are Howard by getting up high percentage shots, because if you don't, if it creates an open floor situation like for Moore, he is going to make you pay. Pretty Euro step, nice touch around the basket. This guy's on the line now.
That's the first foul against Marcus Dockery. Team foul number 6 against the Bison. Moore, the transfer from Murray State, as he's able to knock down the free throw, and that is such a credit to Robert Jones's ability to find players to fit within this system. They lost Jamari Thomas to the portal. Brian Moore Jr. enters, and there is Cameron Shockley Okeke with an and one opportunity.
That man has seen it go in now. Everything's falling for him at this point, and that's why you see Howard take so many shots, so that they can get themselves into a shooting rhythm. And then they become dangerous, because every shot that you think might not go in, it still can go in, because now they've got the heat. They're hot.
When Kenneth Blakeney was an assistant at Columbia, he recruited Shockley Okeke, who ended up going to Columbia, but soon after that, Coach Blakeney ended up at Howard.
Yeah, perfect situation. When he was at Columbia, wasn't playing much, and obviously Blakeney, who recruited him, familiarity there, gives himself an opportunity.
Meding, too strong. The stuff at the rim on Fields. And they will take a look here. They have to readjust the shot clock. It got reset to 30 instead of 20. So it will still be Norfolk State basketball with now 17 seconds on the shot clock. Kamara looking. All the way up top for Fields. Approaching 1 minute left to go in this first half. 2-point lead for Howard. Elbow jumper by Moore. Grab by Robbins. Johnson against Meding. Long jumper, missed it. Field snatches it out of the air. Down the floor for Meding. Meding against Harper. Makes him miss and score.
All right, so here's my thing about the whole Jaren Johnson missed shot there. All right, like you fall on the ground because you're looking for a foul. But what ended up happening is, well, Meding gets a fast break opportunity because he takes off as soon as you hit the deck.
Great point. Tilted the floor in favor of the Spartans. 10 seconds left. Harper inside. Bumped. Missed the shot. Tip. No good. Battling is Stewart, but that closes out the first half. A tie game at 35, and if you're Howard, John, perhaps you're happy knowing how shorthanded you are.
Absolutely. You go in with your head high in the locker room and try to make adjustments on how to make sure that you have the proper plan to be able to combat against this Norfolk State team that still has a lot of depth, still has a lot of energy, and you got to be able to manage your guys' energy on the Howard side.
Cameron Shockley, KK, and the Howard Bison battling here to a tie ball game at 35. We'll have second half action on the way from Eccles Hall in a bit.
Six for 20 from three. Ain't bad.
It's, 30%.
Yeah, it's not bad. Better than I thought. I thought that might have been his first three of the season for a second.
Stewart looking for help. Finds Shockley, KK. Johnson trying to back down McMahon. Nice look inside to Robbins, gets stuffed in part by the rim. McMahon tracks down the loose ball. Harper still on the bench for Howard. Inside Moore. His layup attempt misses, but they'll go to the line for a pair.
And you can see Norfolk State using their length to their advantage by cleaning up the glass.
Harper still on the bench for Howard. Inside Moore. His layup attempt misses, but they'll go to the line for a pair.
And you can see Norfolk State using their length to their advantage by cleaning up the glass and making it tough for Howard to get shots close to the basket. When you got a guy like Quell Meding in there and Chris Fields, guys that can really contest and protect the rim, it makes it tough to score on Norfolk State.
3 in for Robert Jones and the Spartans. Blake Harper will head back in for Howard, as Cameron Shockley, KK, will head off. They've only played 6 so far. And here's the thing. You'd think clearly that would be a disadvantage. But on the season, Marcus Dockery, Blake Harper, Anwar Gill, who is out today with an illness, they've all played big minutes. They're among the minutes leaders in the MEAC. So they're no stranger to having to deal with this kind of situation.
Wow.
Pass inside. Stewart is able to get it to fall home. I don't know how that got through.
I don't either. I mean, that was a needle thread, if you would ever say that. But, man, that's a beautiful pass there if it was meant to happen like that.
Seesaw battle early on. 1-point lead for Howard. Ings. For Tyrell Bladen off his leg. Back over to Howard.
This pass was beautiful. Harper doing a fantastic job of facilitating, showing his ability to not only create for himself and Right now, he hasn't had to, because he knows the double team is coming from Norfolk State every time he touches the ball. But he's trusting his teammates, getting them the ball, and putting them in high percentage situations to score the ball.
Howard leading by 1. Harper back in the flow of things. Johnson lost the ball. Numbers for the Spartans. Ahead to Myers. Myers missed the dunk. Bladen puts it back in.
Norfolk State showing that speed. All they do with their defensive intensity, their defensive pressure, try to create little situations where you make a mistake, and as soon as you make that mistake, they capitalize.
Harper trying to cross up more. A battle of 2 of the top leading scorers in the MEAC is not won by Harper there. The rebound for the Bison. Johnson throws it up off the heel of the rim. The Spartans back to it. Myers will try it. Got it.
And that's what makes Jalen Myers so special. He's a hybrid 4 that really rebounds the ball, can spread the floor from 3, can shoot the mid-range. He's a tough guard.
Part of a Norfolk offense that scored 105 in their last outing against Washington Adventists on Monday. A 105-42 victory. Shockley Okeke with 4 to shoot. Now 3, lost the ball, 1. Harper flings it up, and that will be a shot clock violation against Howard. The Spartans defense standing tall, John.
Yeah, you were seeing the Spartans play with the level of energy due to their depth, where they are creating turnovers and utilizing the weaknesses of Howard, getting in the open floor, making it happen. Bladen finishing with the statement.
We'll have highlights and stats on the way, including second half action in just a bit. The 2 preseason favorites in the MEAC battling for first place today. The fans have seen some exciting basketball through the first 20 minutes. We'll have highlights and stats on the way, including second half action in just a bit from Virginia.
Howard,
Back at the half, it is 35 all between Howard and Norfolk State as these 2 teams battle for first place in the MEAC. Howard trying to get to 4-0 to start out MEAC play. Hello, everybody. Derek Jones and John Williams with you. And John, in the first half, a shortened roster here for Howard has competed well.
Yes, sometimes having less is more. I mean, because you can get yourself into a shooting rhythm, knowing that you're going to miss a couple of shots, but eventually it starts to go in, and that's what we got to see with Howard.
Meanwhile, for the Spartans, their offense has gotten going through Brian Moore Jr. and Kuel Mading.
Yeah, Brian Moore Jr. doing what he does best, finishing at a high clip, at a high percentage, and a lot of the times that was at the basket in today's game. And Kuel Mading was also an impact player. One thing Coach Rob Jones said is that they had to have impact in the post, and he did a great job from establishing himself early down there, which opened up his ability to shoot the 3, as we just saw.
And then Cameron Shockley Okeke for Howard. He's been the leading scorer here so far.
He has been given the ultralight beam. I mean, he has had the fluorescent green light and has shot it at a high clip today, high percentage, really just looking for any amount of space that's given to him from Norfolk State's defense.
He has been exceptional scoring the rock as of late. The leading scorer across the board each way, but Blake Harper, he's been quiet, 2 points. He's only been held in single-digit scoring in a game just twice this season.
Yeah, and the thing is that he has impacted the game in other ways that you can't put on a stat book. And the reason being is because when he touches the ball or the ball touches his hands, there are multiple green jerseys coming after him. He does the right thing, the mature thing, passes it out, gets it to the open man. The ball has movement now, it has life, and somebody gets a high percentage shot.
Myers working against Shockley Okeke, gets blocked out of bounds, back to Norfolk. 8 seconds to shoot for the Spartans. With 5 to shoot. Moore launches and scores.
That's a Wednesday night for him, man. This guy's really good. Score the ball, all levels of the floor.
Averages over 18 points per game, 3rd leading scorer in the MEAC heading into today. He's in double figures away from the ball. A foul against Jaren Johnson. That will send play the other way.
And Jelani Darden has done a really good job of making it difficult for Harper to get his touches.
John, we mentioned how depleted Howard is. How do you think that affects their defensive strategy?
Well, especially in man-to-man opportunities, it's going to be tough. And then an open floor defense, transition defense is going to be tough. And that's why we talked about offense being your best defense, really playing your offense to the best of that ability so that you can get that shot. And you see there, like, it's just slowly but surely starting to deplete as you can see Moore getting himself another opportunity at the free throw line to finish.
Moore will try to finish off the 3-point play. Talked about what he's meant earlier to this team after they lost Jamari Thomas, the MEAC Player of the Year, to the transfer portal. Robert Jones able to bring Moore into the program, and he has been a tremendous find. Harper, a little bit too strong. Tap back outside. Dockery into Robbins. 2 for Calvin Robbins Jr.
Yeah, great offensive rebound for Howard to be able to create another opportunity to score the ball there. Good drive from Dockery on that baseline.
The struggles continuing for Blake Harper. Just 1 of 6 from the field. Darden to the cup, off the window.
Huge finish from Darden there, letting Jaren Johnson know that that was on you, sir. And they've made it a point to try to go at Jaren Johnson on the offensive end.
Inside for Robbins. Good ball rotation. Johnson tries a 3. No good. Ings does not have the numbers, but he's able to get a whistle as he made contact with Blake Harper. That'll lead to a whistle against the freshman.
Blake Harper trying to do everything he could to stop Ings from getting his feet in the paint, because that is when Norfolk State is at their best, when they are in the open floor, in fast break opportunities, and wanted to try to stop that to put Norfolk State in the half court so that they could get in their zone.
The Spartans have hit on 4 of their last 5 from the field as Myers tries to make it 5 of 6, and he does.
That's what makes Myers so special. Not only can he take you off the dribble, he can post you up, but he can also knock down the 3.
Myers, a 38% shooter from 3, has extended the lead to 8, largest of the day for the Spartans. Dockery along the baseline. Shockley Okeke, now Harper. Good closeout here by the Spartans defensively. Dockery pops a 3, missed it.
It was a great defensive possession for Norfolk State.
Good ball movement to Ings for 3. Myers battling with Shockley Okeke, and the battle is won by Shockley Okeke. So the foul picked up by Jalen Myers. First foul of the half against the Spartans, who lead it by 8.
When you had a defensive possession like they just had, you want to guarantee you put the ball in the basket. You feel that you've earned it after you've played defense like that.
Cameron Shockley Okeke getting the roll to cut it to a 6-point contest. The Spartans won both regular season meetings last year here in Virginia. Trying to do it again for the Bison right here at Eccles Hall. 5 to shoot. Moore's three, no good. Darden battling down low. His shot caught the rim. Harper down the floor, finds Johnson, who gets
Yikes.
by Meding, and a blocking foul call.
Oh my goodness. The sound it had sounded like a Marvel movie, the way it hit the backboard. My goodness, Kuel Meding. Rejection.
Kuel Meding leads Norfolk State in block shots this season. He has 2, including a rather emphatic one as we last went to John.
2 points, 2 blocks, 9 points, 4 or 5 shooting. And you see here, getting back on defense. You heard that, right? That sounded like the 4th of July. Like it was fireworks when he hit that. And honestly, there's nothing more deflating when you were supposed to have an easy 2 and it's taken away from you.
Taken by force.
That was taken by force. That was next level right there. You got to think about what that does to the energy, the psyche, and Howard was starting to, create some momentum in their favor by scoring a couple of times, and that was erased, and it can do something to your psyche if you're the opposing team.
Meding coming off of a double-double performance on Monday in the win against Washington Adventist. Ings against the taller Shockley Okeke, and he gets the foul as Ings will go to the line for 2. This Howard team, they led 35-33 late in the first half, and it's been all Norfolk State since that time.
Well, you can definitely see, especially going into the second half after such a good first half from Howard, you wonder whether the fatigue is going to start setting in for him. And when the fatigue sets in, that's when you have fouls.
What an ESPN college basketball quadruple header we have for you today. Number 9, Kentucky and Vandy get it started at 2:30 Eastern. Then Cooper Flag and number 2 Duke take on Wake Forest, followed by 12th ranked Kansas hosting 7th ranked Houston. And we cap the day with number 1 ranked Auburn and number 6 Tennessee. What a day for basketball on ESPN. We'll see if Janai Broome will take the floor for the top ranked Tigers.
Yeah, Janai Broome has been huge for Auburn.
Harper still can't get going. Misses another one. Myers from deep, no good. Shockley Okeke had it stripped away from him, but Stewart collects. Dockery on the move, serves it up and in to the rim.
Yeah, he does that little sneak, goofy foot finish on teams so many times to throw them off their timing to block the shot.
Off the Meding miss, Johnson. Harper launches, still ice cold. And a loose ball foul on the way. This will be against Howard and Cameron Shockley Okeke.
That's his 4th foul. And that's not good, especially when you've been one of the key sources of scoring for Howard.
He heads out. Calvin Robbins Jr. has to head in, and that's a huge problem today, John, because of the shortened bench. The last thing you need is somebody fouling out of the game, especially one of your top scorers.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. And one thing that Coach Blayton said was, we're just going to swing until the ship falls. And that's the mentality that they have to have. You don't want to have that defeatist mentality.
Foul called away from the ball with Harper trying to figure out something offensively. As the setup here for Robbins in front of the Howard bench with the Bison down by 8. Trying to keep their perfect MEAC record intact. Good look down low from Harper to Miles Stewart.
Harper still just making the recognitions necessary to get his teammates in good situations on the floor. He's got 5 assists so far.
Myers scores at the block.
Yeah, big finish, created contact with Jaren Johnson.
Dockery got hit on the 3, and he'll go to the line for 3 free throws.
And Marcus Dockery, wily vet, knows how to manipulate defenders in the fouling, even at the 3-point line. You see him. Sold it. Wily veteran move. And all you need is a little bit of contact there. And you see, like, you can tell that he has taken a lot of threes and has been a threat out there for a long time, pushing the left foot forward, hunting for a little bit of contact there.
And he's the top shooter in the MEAC. Dockery leads the MEAC in made threes per game and 3-point percentage. And he'll get another one. As Ings, frustrated by that foul, he'll head off. Dockery gets all 3. And the lead for the Spartans down to 5. Meeting 68 all-time between these two programs. And the Spartans trying to make sure that they grab a win here and force a first-place tie. 5 seconds to shoot for Moore. Moore from outside of the foul line, misses the jumper, tipped around, and it goes to Darden. Back outside, McMahon 3, no good. Tracked down by Moore, another possession.
2 offensive rebounds for Norfolk State. And that's the thing about when you do run a zone, sometimes you can't box out your man, you're boxing out space.
Off the miss, a Johnson rebound.
But Rob Jones can't be mad with that possession. That was 3 opportunities his guys had to score.
And finally, Harper is able to get one to rattle in. So Harper connects. And it's a 3-point lead for the Spartans. First field goal for Harper since early on in the first half. Myers to the rim, and he gets fouled.
Yeah, that's something that Norfolk State has made a point of emphasis. Has been attacking the guard play of Howard. I think in halftime, Coach Jones told him just continue to go at him, create contact, see if you can get to the free throw line.
Myers at the line, sinks the first. Talking to Coach Jones, and Myers among the big surprises so far for his team. He's been able to really add to that front court presence down low.
Yeah, front court presence and depth. I mean, you still have Chris Fields there, who comes off the bench and is just as good. And so it gives you depth at that 4 position. Makes you a matchup nightmare based on what you're playing against and how your gifts can propel your team.
Io Deli Taihu is in the game for the first time. We'll tell you about that when we return. 5-point lead for the Spartans.
My kid.
Norfolk State and Howard here at Eccles Hall today in a MEAC contest. As Howard trying to go to 4-0 in MEAC play, they'll need Blake Harper to get started here offensively due to the foul trouble. And when you look at his performance so far today, John, he has 5 assists, but just 4 points, which is well below his pace in MEAC play.
Yeah, I mean, it really has. And he's just responding, in my opinion, to what Norfolk State is giving him. And they're sending 2 guys at him. So if you send 2 guys at him now, they've only got 3 people available for defense. And so what he's done a good job of is passing the ball out of the double team. And his guys are taking the shots that they're supposed to take. But I think that Norfolk State is going to make an adjustment because they have to guard him straight up just to see if he can score now.
Off of the errant pass, Ings able to score. That was a rough inbounds play for Howard. Taihu went one way and the pass went the other. Stewart tries a jumper from the baseline, misses. Taihu comes in, and that is going to be a foul coming up against Ayodele Taihu, who has not played in this game until right this moment.
You can kind of see it a little bit too. You know, he's moving a little rusty, and so it's, you know, the communication, but this is a perfect opportunity for you to make sure that when your guys do get healthy, if you're Coach Blakeney, you have depth now, because those guys were put through the fire during the conference play. A lot of the times you can't do that. And so this is one of those situations where you were forced to do so due to injury, illness, everything.
Shockley Okeke back into the game for Taihu, and that's important. He has 4 fouls. And to show you just the importance of his presence, you don't see a lot of coaches putting a player back out on the floor with just over 11 minutes left to go and 4 fouls recorded. And Stewart rolling to the rim, picks up the foul, will go to the line for a pair.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, it's just you gotta go down with the ship at this point, and especially with 11 minutes to go, understanding that timing is everything, and Norfolk State is so dangerous that they can run away with this thing if you do not continue to compete. And so it's a gamble, it's a risk that you got to take in order to give yourself a chance in the bottom half or the bottom 4 or 5 minutes of this half.
Stewart no good on the first free throw attempt. Tries to draw Howard closer, he cannot. Nine-point advantage for the Spartans. Ings had the ball go off his leg. He was going quickly past Shockley Okeke, who at this point can't do much defensively if he wants to stay on the floor.
He laid out the red carpet for him. Go ahead, man. I can't get this last one.
Harper. Defended by Kamara. Shockley Okeke left open momentarily. Off the miss, Myers collecting the rebound. Dockery, great hands. Dockery doesn't have the numbers. He attacks anyway and scores, plus the foul.
It just looks familiar to me. I mean, Marcus Dockery has been doing this for years. One of those guys that can take over a game when you least expect it. He's able to get in the open floor, ward off the primary defender, get to the basket, absorb contact, and finish strong. But, you know, it makes me think about that championship game. It makes me think about when they played against Norfolk State last year in the semifinals. You know, but 19 points he had was huge.
And Dockery collects the three-point play. It's a 6-point lead for the Spartans. We'll take a breather. Howard trying to storm back against Norfolk State.
Don't overthink it. A large one-top.
Auburn and Tennessee. Derek Jones and John Williams with you here in Virginia. 57-51 lead for the Spartans. Norfolk State has led the entire way here in the second half. Once they grab the lead, as the man they call Philly, Christian Ings, puts it in.
Yeah, he definitely went in attack mode, and he's been in that since he's gotten on the floor. Just constantly continuing to go at the pressure of Howard.
And a foul against Howard. And that will be against Taihu. He's picked up 2 fouls here, and this is a challenging situation for Kenneth Blakeney to try to manage a shortened bench, but you're also dealing with a player in Ayodele Taihu who hasn't played a lot. You can tell, as you mentioned, doesn't have a lot of lift in those legs. Oh, he had enough lift there to come up with a swat on Ings, but a foul as Stewart will be called for the block.
At least he made it so he had to take 2 instead of 1. So you can see there, Stewart was there waiting. Taihu cleaned it up. Still moving though, so makes sense.
It'll be Ings at the free throw line with his team up by 8. Transfer from Ryder has battled adversity, had a torn ACL a couple of years ago. As Taihu and Stewart sit, Shockley Okeke back on the floor. And just to clarify, the reason they call Christian Ings Philly, pretty simple. He's from Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. It makes sense, yeah.
The lead at 10 for the Spartans, 61-51, 9:40 and ticking left to go. Shockley Okeke. Now Jaren Johnson to the block. Shockley Okeke, high arcing 3. Lightly touches the rim as Ings swings a pass inside for more, off the glass and down.
We talked about it. Howard starting to get tired. You can see they're starting to get fatigued, and their transition defense is struggling from that. Norfolk State getting out in the open floor. Just a pass ahead to Moore, and Moore just finishes with the contact. And so it could be an uphill battle for Howard.
4 fouls on Robbins as Johnson is able to get that shot to fall. So Robbins with the 4 fouls, he heads out. Shockley Okeke with the 4 fouls, he heads out as well. Stewart back in, Taihu in as well.
Coach Blakeney is doing a good job of managing the roster, knowing that he has to have those guys with 4 in to continue to contribute on the offensive and defensive end, but also just trying to get the sustainability players to go out there, put forth 100% effort until the time presents itself.
Fields comes up empty. He gets blocked by Taihu. Moore cleans it up with a jumper.
Moore has a pretty mid-range.
Dockery. And Dockery, as that ball goes off his hands, out of bounds, back over to the Spartans as Dockery running down the floor a little gingerly.
It was a rough pass to catch. Good idea from Stewart.
Ings swings it to Moore. Moore attacking Johnson. Now Bladen. Bladen denied and over to Howard. John, I want to ask you about Jaren Johnson here. It looks like at times the Spartans have focused things on him when they have the basketball.
Yeah, they've gone square at him. I mean, obviously you can tell what the scout report is saying. Attack him immediately. I mean, he's one of their primary ball handlers, but they want to see, is he questionable on the defensive end? See if either he gets in foul trouble or either you score. And so back when we played, we had guys on the scout report that they said go right at him. I think that he's one of those guys for Norfolk State.
Harper goes up. He got hit, and he very well could be headed to the free throw line. It'll be Blake Harper at the stripe when we come back. Players in Norfolk State history. Kyle O'Quinn, who's in attendance today, he helped the Spartans shock the world, as the banner says here in Eccles Hall, with an upset victory of Missouri in the NCAA tournament in 2012. He was at practice yesterday as well.
Absolutely. That guy was a dog, man. I know he's out, he's still playing currently, but was an absolute dog. And one of the things that I liked the energy in practice was every time there was a little you know, a little disagreement. I would say that much. Every time there's a little disagreement, he was hyping that up. And that's the energy that he brings. He wants those guys to compete against each other so that whoever they're playing against, you know, it doesn't compare to what they do in practice.
Off the missed free throw, Blake Harper able to add in two the hard way, 65-55. The lead for the Spartans. Kyle O'Quinn, of course, an NBA veteran, played internationally as well. Coming back home here to see his Spartans try to hold off Howard. Bladen having trouble with the ball. In trouble. Now 5 to shoot. And Taihu will be called for the foul. And that bails out the Spartans, who had 3 seconds to shoot.
Yeah, 3 seconds to shoot, but if Darden splits that screen, it's a layup. And so it was just a honestly business decision at that point.
These are the two best teams in the MEAC regarding free throw shooting, and that is carried out here today as Darden is able to sink the first. Taihu heads out, Stewart heads out as well. Robbins and Shockley Okeke back in. The Spartans lead the MEAC in free throw shooting this season, just a cut below 75% on the year, as Darden gets both. They've been perfect from the line today. Howard right on their heels at number 2, shooting 74% from the stripe. Johnson has to kick it out for Harper. Everything has been tough here for this Howard team offensively as this game has worn on.
Yeah.
Dockery, step back, creates and scores.
Marcus Dockery really does a good job just taking guys off the dribble, getting to his mid-range. Here's one thing I will say about being tough for Howard to score the ball. If you're not going to rebound the ball or not going to be able to out-rebound the team, you have to be extremely efficient on the boards. And right now, Norfolk State's got 34 to Howard's 21. And so they are out-rebounding them at a high rate. And so what that means is they're going to get additional opportunities at the basket, but also making it tough. If Howard isn't making shots, then they're only going to get one shot at the basket.
And that's no doubt been one of the big challenges for this team. And look, they are missing size. There's no doubt about that. You take a look at Monir Hema. He's not in this game for Howard.
Dom Campbell.
Yeah. The injuries have mounted up, but they've mounted up to their front court players as Harper is good on the front end of a 1-and-1.
And then not to mention Bryce Harris, who is, you know, their heart and soul. Like their motor guy, their glue guy. And him being out puts a big blow on this Howard front court where their rebounding suffers, their interior scoring suffers.
Harper misses the second. Lead for the Spartans at 11. Ing steps into a 3, missed it, tracked down by Dockery. Dockery to a cutting Johnson. Looked like Johnson had a seam there, but elected to pass it up. Back to it. Stripped, lost the ball. Ahead to Darden. Darden on the run, lays it in. With Taihu on his heels, he's able to score. Dockery, 3 in transition, missed it. Loose ball out of bounds, and Taihu barreling into the bench area, knocks over the chairs, and he appears to be okay.
Yeah, you can see Darden had to be efficient with that finish. No lingering in the air because Taihu is a shot blocker, has 11 on the season, was looking to clean that up.
13-point lead for the Spartans. Their largest lead of the game. Kamara from deep, no good. Stewart with the save. Still time left for Howard. Harper spins. Can't get it to drop. Darden with a behind-the-back dribble. The line!
Hey now, say now.
They are loud and excited about this Norfolk State team after that alley-oop.
Look at Philly Ings. When the sneaks start leaning and the heat starts working. Ooh. I felt like Freeway was in his mind right there. Does it look like he had an ACL injury? Like, we got to see him in practice. He is bouncy.
Those knees look good to me. Harper gets the first free throw. By the way, a gold star to you.
Thank you.
For crediting a line from Freeway, the rapper.
Yep.
That's a Philly song. You got, I mean, for Philly.
I tied it in.
Remarkable. 2 from Harper.
That's the anthem there.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've heard that. I own the album.
Yeah,
I've heard
you do. You lose your card if you did.
Yeah.
Being from out there.
73-60 lead. Ings and the Spartans team trying to pull away. Ings up to 19 points. Trying to add to it. Oh, that one rattled out. Looked like it was on it the way down. Harper. And a blocking foul that will send Harper back to the free throw line.
That's one of those ones where I'm like, it can go one way or the other. Yeah, that's tough. I've seen it be called both ways.
Harper at the stripe. He's been able to get to the free throw line here in this second half as he gets the first. And the other track here for Harper is that, look, this has not been an easy day from the field, but he's able to get the whistle. He's able to draw fouls against the Spartans defense.
Yeah.
Which might be something to keep in mind in the future when they see them again.
Well, yeah, his presence demands attention from the defenses, and so he's one of those guys that can draw fouls.
A timeout called on the floor. The Spartans up by 11. In the first half, they've been shut out in half 2.
Well, Coach Rob Jones really emphasized at practice yesterday on his guys making sure that they defended the perimeter, meeting them on the catch, making it difficult to take a shot uncontested. You know, like they want to make sure that there's a hand in somebody's face at all times. And so 4 for 10 in the first half is not bad, obviously. And in the second half, you could definitely see that they cleaned up on some tendencies that Howard was using to get the 3 off and shut it down in the second half. And part of that is OKK. And, you know, he shot 4 for 17 in the previous game, so you were going to be hesitant to go out on him in this game. But he showed what he could do in that first half, and so now you got to respect him. And Norfolk State made the adjustment.
The dink squeezes a pass inside to Myers as Taihu contested the shot, but a foul on the way against Howard. And that will be against Taihu. That's his 4th.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, Robbins, Taihu, both 4 fouls now.
Shockley OKK as well. And look, that makes the comeback that much harder because you have 3 players now who can't really give you intense defensive effort.
Yeah, and 2 front court players. So you got to think about how that impacts you in the rebounding department.
13-point game as Harper reverse layup is beautiful and good.
Yeah, he didn't wait for the defense to get set, saw his angle, his lane, and took advantage.
3 players in double figures for Howard. Harper has 13 now. Under 4 minutes left to go as Myers connects.
Yeah. Myers just really been a pleasant surprise for Norfolk State. Both ends of the floor.
He has 13. Dockery underneath the rim, trying to find some help. Harper fading away from the rim, and it falls in. Tough shot by Blake Harper, and he's starting to pick it up.
Harper has scored the last 13 points for the Howard Bison. Definitely picked it up.
11-point game. Ooh, Dockery wanted to cut in on that pass to Ings. Darted, cut off at the baseline, tipped and stolen, and it will go over to Howard. That ball deflected at the bottom of the backboard. So it was called out. Back over to the Bison with 2:47 left to go. John, they're trying to hang around here late.
You never can count out a team that can really shoot the three. And the thing is that if all of a sudden Blake Harper knocks down a couple.
Robbins with a dunk. And a timeout called by Howard. That's their final timeout with 2:36 left to go.
That was a vertical dunk right there. That's what I'm impressed about. And I think he snuck all the front court players of Norfolk State and thinking that it was about to be a layup, but he came down with the heat. And you see it. Harper getting to his spot and just going up. Straight to it. Bryce Harper with his 6 assists.
And for Harper, that's another feature to his game. He leads the MEAC in scoring and rebounding. You don't have Anwar Gill here today, so he's helping out from the distribution standpoint. 15 points, 6 assists. Cameron Shockley-Okeke leading this Howard team with 16 points. How about Moore and Ings combining for 39?
Yeah, yikes. I mean, and it's been because they've been able to get out in the open floor quickly before Howard could get set. And it's been a track meet. And when you don't have a lot of depth, you know, that team starts to suffer in the fatigue side. And so they've taken full advantage of it by going at the weak spots in Howard's defense. But Blake Harper definitely come alive in the last, I'd probably say about 6-7 minutes, where he is showing all of his capabilities.
No doubt. 2 points at halftime. And that's one of the differences he can provide. He can fill it up quickly. But the key here for Howard, how do they get stops with their foul trouble? Taihu, Shockley-Okeke, and Robbins each with 4 fouls. That's a big problem for them if they're going to try to complete this comeback.
Absolutely. And the thing is that you can't afford to foul when you have those guys on the floor to send them to the free throw line to stop the clock. No matter what, Norfolk State's formula of attacking the weak spots of the defense and making them have to play them at the rim is going to lead to fouls. And that's how they've been able to get there so far. And then getting those fast breaks. It's, you know, Howard has had to foul in the fast breaks a few times. They've scored 20 points in fast breaks, Norfolk State has.
And that foul trouble, keep in mind, that's with a shortened roster. They only have 8 dressed. 8 players have played in this contest. A dunk from Meding. Wonderful ball movement by the Spartans. Johnson. Now Dockery. Approaching 2 minutes left to go with the Spartans up by 11. Robbins with another jam.
Great find from Marcus Dockery. In that roll, he hit the roller from the baseline.
Remember, no timeouts left for Howard. Moore attacking the rack, lays it in. And a timeout called by Robert Jones and the Spartans with 1:37 left to go.
I say this has been a long 137. It'll be a long 137 for Howard. I mean, see, talk about them trying to utilize those timeouts, trying to take up as much time to rest as much as they can. And Norfolk State has just been too much, and a lot of that's been behind the shoulders of Brian Moore Jr.
Norfolk State, if they win this game, will jump into a first-place tie with Howard. Or excuse me, actually, Norfolk State will take over first place over Howard. Howard will drop back for the time being into a tie into second place with South Carolina State, who will play later today. So a very important game here for the Spartans, who won the regular season title last year. And these two teams will see each other again in the last game of the regular season.
Of course they will. And I think that it might be a really good game to see, simply because I think that Howard will have some guys back, some pieces back, and be a little bit more healthy. And it's at their house, which is a tough place to play at. I think all home courts are tough to play in the MEAC.
Play resumes as Shockley Okeke hits the three-pointer, and the lead is down to 8.
Said it, man. You can't count on the team that can really shoot the three, but on the defensive end, you have to worry about where does that put Howard when they need to foul. They need to try to create turnovers.
Moore scored plus the foul as he went into the chest of Blake Harper.
He's making court angels. I love it.
And he is sensing victory for his Spartans.
Yeah. Full head of steam. Could not stop him once he was on the mission. I feel bad for the floor people, the people that got to mop the floor. I mean, this he's been running hard all day today. They're still mopping, too. Shout out to event staff out here working, getting after it.
Moore plays hard, so there's some sweat buildup.
That's what I'm saying. They really had to make sure it was dry over there.
In the battle of two of the top 3 scorers in the MEAC, it's been Moore who has gotten the better of Blake Harper. Moore with 25 points. Under a minute left to go. Darden pops a three. Jaylani Darden, perhaps with a dagger here for the Spartans.
And what I'll say about Jaylani Darden is, man, beautiful block from Meding. What did they call on that?
They called a foul against the Spartans. And it will be, I believe, Meding who picks up the whistle with 40.6 left.
I'll tell you right now, Meding's trying to get on top 10, man. You see it every time he's blocking shots. I don't know why he's got to hit the ball that hard.
There was also some contact there from Myers. Nonetheless, Dockery at the stripe. Gets the first. Well, John, you alluded to their matchup later on this season. Last year, they met in the regular season finale here at Norfolk State. I was here for that. If you would have told me Howard would end up winning the MEAC, I would have said, I don't know about that.
Exactly. And honestly, like, Howard was good 2 years ago as well.
Moore adds 2 more.
Yeah, Howard was good 2 years ago as well. But Norfolk State was the favorite. That's back when they had Joe Bryan Jr. and Chris Bankston, and you knew, like, this is their team. And Howard played the perfect game in the championship and came out with a win. And so it's not always about the talent, but also about the teams that peak at the right times, and Howard has peaked at the right times both years.
That tournament coming up in March, and this is the style of play that has made this Norfolk State team successful throughout the year. They played a tough non-league schedule, and you can see the intensity that they play with as They are checking to see who touched this ball last. It was deemed Howard basketball. Our officials today, Haywood Bostic, Julian Scott, Owen Lucky, reviewing matters. Some fans grooving here at Eccles Hall.
You know who we're missing? The band.
The band would have been a nice touch.
Oh my goodness.
Would have loved that. As Myers catches the inbounds play as the Spartans are able to get possession of the ball after the review. Darden. Another lob for more. It goes in. What's the foul?
That's unlucky right there. I don't know if you should be patting your head. I don't think the dunk was completed. I think it just found its way in the basket. Settle down. All right, but still, tough finish. Yeah, you can't tap your head on that. Like, I mean, I'm a dunk connoisseur, obviously. So, you know, I'll call it when I see it, man. But still a beautiful finish.
I hesitate sometimes to describe dunks as good around you.
Yeah.
You have a high standard.
I do, man. I have a high standard, and obviously I like the attempt too. Like, I got to respect his attempt. Now, I'll let you know if it's a minimum wage dunk in a heartbeat, right? Like, if it's a McDonald's pay, I'll let you know.
Harper throws up an air ball, and that perhaps a fitting conclusion here to the day for Howard. They gave it a go, but in the end, they ran out of gas and up against a tremendous Spartans team. Norfolk State wins it 92-75. They take over first place in the MEAC.
Yeah, Rob Jones has a great group again. What a fantastic Norfolk State group, and can't wait to see how this Howard Bison team continues to fight through the injuries and depleted roster.
For our entire crew and John Williams, I'm Derek Jones saying so long from Norfolk. The Spartans top the Bison 92-75.